It is my honor to welcome you to the Academy's 46th Annual Meeting and Scientific Symposium. In keeping with tradition, please rise and join me in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you for joining us here in Chicago. We have an outstanding meeting planned for you that includes keynote speaker Scott Deming. The Academy is your meeting, a chance to create your own experience. We provide a sold-out exhibit hall filled with O&P partners. We have over 1,400 attendees with whom you can share clinical and practical experiences. And we offer education and social opportunities for you to join colleagues and friends to celebrate our O&P profession. All of these offerings are at your fingertips through the Aaop 2020 app. So, welcome to Chicago. I'm a Northwestern University Prosthetic and Orthotic alum. I love returning to Chicago, and this meeting feels a lot more like homecoming in many ways. The memories of student life, scholarly pursuits, intern hours at local Chicago clinics, and studying fill my mind with nostalgia. Another aspect of homecoming is the return to Chicago with its restaurants, its music, bars, sports teams, shopping, museums, parks, and its overall enthusiasm. And third, the return of the professionals at our meeting. As attendees, we get to combine both the fun of Chicago while engaging in top-notch education sessions that have been carefully constructed by our clinical content committee. I hope that you absorb new techniques and patient care information you are able to bring back to your practice immediately. My father was an engineer. He started out at Boeing. He had nothing to do with the 737 MAX. He worked on 2 Jaguars on the weekends, mostly rewiring. He never had 2 Jaguars working at the same time. He just used one of them for parts. He sold them right before my 16th birthday. I never got to drive that 1958 Jaguar XK150. My mother was a nurse, family practice, dermatology, and many years for Seattle Children's Hospital in neurology. It wasn't until later that I realized that I'd combined both my parents' professions into one. I spent many years in private practice in a 5-state trauma hospital, started out in orthotics before prosthetics. Today, I have to wear many different hats, and I want to emphasize the diverse skills that we have as certified prosthetic and orthotic professionals. In the University of Washington Bioengineering Prosthetic Science and Technology Lab, I work with 15 engineers of varying backgrounds, mechanical, electrical, bioengineering. Every day I translate their instrumentation to our participants who have varying degrees of education levels. I maintain a database of over 120 individuals with transtibial limb loss who use a prosthesis every day. I think we have fun in the lab, but they have to want to be there. Even though our volunteers may get paid well for their time, they still have to want to be there. If they miss their appointments, our lab time is wasted. I wonder sometimes what the engineers think of me when I dumb down their hard work and labor-intensive, detailed project for each of these individuals. I'll say things like, this doohickey goes here and talks to this cell phone thingy here, and whammo, your prosthetic socket gets bigger or smaller. If we don't involve them in our conversations, they get bored. It is a day of education for them as well. On the other spectrum, those engineers that are working on small motors, software details, materials testing, I try to make their small projects relevant to helping a whole population of humans interacting with technology and innovation. I help them understand the big picture of improving the quality of life of prosthesis users. Sometimes my day takes me to the rehabilitation department for a CAM linkage articulating adaptable prosthetic project. This project is an NIH small business grant, and it has been very rewarding, and I hope that someday all of the research behind this foot will come to fruition and you will see this foot on your patients. In all of these positions, I spend a lot of time interpreting our findings in publications or presentations at conventions like the Academy Annual Meeting or our local chapter meetings. Our hard work doesn't mean anything if it doesn't get to you. Sometimes my day is spent in the boardroom of the Academy. I'm a licensed certified prosthetist, orthotist, independent consultant, contractor, and volunteer for your Academy. As a contractor, I do not have other CPOs in my lab with whom I can bounce ideas off. I love the teams I consult for, but they're engineers and researchers, students, grad students, and scientists. I need the Academy as it is my professional home, full of O&P professionals. You, the Academy, are my teammates, my confidants, my trusted peers, colleagues, and fellow professionals. I've served as the president of the Academy for the past 9 months, and each month has been nothing short of amazing. I've been diligent in keeping our work transparent, inclusive, and collaborative. Equity and inclusion are very dear to me. And when we use all of our talent and energy as one, we all benefit. It's a delicate thing to initiate change. We have done this with respect and care. Transparency was a key contributor to our approach to become an organization that represents every O&P professional. We were mindful of soliciting your insight and opinions every step of the way before putting the historic bylaws change to vote. We can accomplish more with a greater voice in O&P, and it meant a lot to me that these changes passed by a large margin. As a board and with the hard work of the Academy staff, we have created many deliverables that mark our success as an organization. The Online Learning Center has new courses with an updated look to help you maneuver through your continuing education credit opportunities smoothly. An investment in software to produce higher quality courses was made, and we're excited about the learning opportunities that are now on the horizon. This year's certificate program will feature fundamental principles of behavioral science for the prosthetist orthotist. This online opportunity is available to all meeting attendees. Not only is this a huge benefit for your continuing education credits, but it fulfills your fellow requirements. We will induct 9 new fellows of the Academy during this annual meeting. Congratulations to Brian Warwick, Tiffany Graham, Patrick Pike, Jessica Corso, Casey Thomas, Duffy Femley, R.T. Despande, Kevin Hines, Jonas Seberg. You've all worked so hard on this commitment and dedication to our profession. The Academy took a stand with our sister organizations on harassment in the workplace and worked collaboratively to educate the profession on this topic. Come to the session on workplace harassment, tools, and guidance on Friday at 6 p.m. Also, check out the Academy webinar, Workplace Harassment Awareness and Prevention, sponsored by the Women in O&P Committee. The Academy members may view it free of charge. We asked our membership in 2016 what they needed most, and an evidence database was at the top of that list. After a few years of careful planning and diligence, that deliverable has become a reality. Now I want to thank our blue humans out there in the foyer to promote the first Onp Evidence Database. O&P IQ, is now accessible exclusively to our membership. This database is a super tool and will change the way you search for relevant evidence, improve your practice, gain necessary reimbursement justification, and educate your patients and referral sources. The blue human represents the easy search method on this database. It has been carefully developed and curated by clinicians who want to maximize its impact and provide all information O&P related. Visit the Academy Lounge for a tutorial or go directly to opiq.onp.org. Search for relevant articles, create your favorites, view past searches, and never stop learning. The response to our newly launched e-newsletter, The Academy Advantage, has been overwhelmingly positive. Academy members are engaged and value reliable news as it relates to the profession we all love. The Journal of Prosthetics and Orthotics has grown a great deal this year, and our editor-in-chief, Dr. Stephen Gard, has received a record number of submissions from diverse researchers and authors from international organizations. As you know, the Academy has a superstar staff. They are the experts at administration, program development, strategic initiatives, financial management, publications and marketing, and professional development. It is up to our Academy volunteers to take care of the grassroots thinking of our profession and keep the work of the Academy relevant. Our Academy volunteers work very hard to ensure that the information we provide to you is relevant to your practice, your research labs, and your patient clinics. I want to extend my invitation to all of you for help in this mission. Let us know what tools would enhance your professional approach. The Academy is here to support your professional needs. I am pleased to know that my professional home is getting stronger and more impactful every day. Thank you and enjoy your annual meeting. Now, it is my pleasure to welcome Don Katz, Chairman of the Orthotic and Prosthetic Education and Research Foundation, to the stage to introduce the Carlton Fillauer Prize for Outstanding Contributions to Prosthetic Science and Practice.
Good evening, and thank you, Kate. OPERF is proud to be a crucial resource for funding that supports education and research grants aimed at elevating the O&P profession. The Carlton Fillauer Prize for Outstanding Contributions to Prosthetic Science and Practice is one of OPERF's premier awards. Launched in 2014, this honor is a result of the dedication and support of the Fillauer companies to the O&P profession. Nominees are evaluated by a panel of prosthetic clinicians, researchers, and educators serving on the OPERF Research Committee. One deserving candidate is then recommended to the OPERF Board of Directors for consideration. This year's recipient is Ryan Caldwell, CP, and Fellow with our Academy. Ryan maintains a very active clinical practice right here in Chicago and is an avid adopter of technology in the area of vacuum-assisted suspension. Ryan was a key developer of the Northwestern University Flexive Socket for transfemoral amputees. Ryan serves as adjunct faculty at Northwestern University's MPO program, has given numerous presentations nationally and internationally, and has co-authored several peer-reviewed articles which have been published in a variety of allied health and engineering journals. We are honored this evening to have Michael Fillauer to join us in presenting Ryan this award. Michael, could you join me on stage?
Thank you so much. It is an honor to be here, and on behalf of Fillauer Companies, it is an honor to present the Carlton Fillauer Award to Mr. Ryan Caldwell.
All right, good evening. Thank you, OPERF, Michael and Don. This is obviously a huge honor to win this very prestigious award. Firstly, I would like to thank my wife and our 3 children. Without their love and support, I would not be on the stage today. My position as a researcher oftentimes means more time away from home and the family, and many times out of the country. And I appreciate all that they have done to continue to make sure that everything is smooth at the house and the kids didn't burn the house down. So it's a huge thing, and I appreciate her very much. So I was introduced to the world of research mostly by accident. I was fortunate to work in a facility that was very progressive and allowed for mistakes. I was the kind of clinician that often questioned why we did what we did, and the answers that I got were never quite good enough for me to stop asking those same questions. Through these mistakes, I began working with some new technologies, some new prosthetic designs that just didn't make sense to me or other clinicians that I worked with, but they worked. So I was asked to meet with the research staff at Northwestern University to explore some thoughts back in 2007. I figured that this might be really cool, and maybe one day, if I was lucky, I could write a paper. I thought that that was really the biggest thing that you could do in the field and really make your mark. So at that time, Stefania Fatone, which I think everybody here knows, took a chance at making sense of all this clinical nonsense. And fast forward 13 years, I've been very fortunate to work on 7 major grants with more than 15 publications, and I've traveled the world teaching, which has also become a very big passion of mine. And with that, I appreciate all that time and effort that my friend has put in with me, Dr. Stefania Fatone. So I appreciate her very much as well. So as a resident preceptor, I often get asked, how do I get into research and why? So I always joke and say that the best way to get into research is to find yourself a Steph, because she's been a great mentor. But I've also seen that a lot of other companies and things like that have really made a dedication to research, and that's a huge thing. The answer of why is a little more complicated, and I kind of put it this way, is that research is an investment in yourself. As a clinician, we all want to be the best that we can possibly be. The more that we can learn, the better that chance is. Research is an investment to your patients. Obviously, the more perspective that you have, the better job that you can do for them. Research is an investment in, I would say, for and by the company that you work with. So time and resources are necessary to make that commitment, and I appreciate Sheck and Cyrus for their commitment to me in these goals. And lastly, research is an investment for the field. Certainly there's plenty of questions and things that we'd all like to answer, and certainly that's been the way through. So I appreciate it very much, and thank you.
Thank you, Dawn, Michael, and congratulations to you, Ryan. It is now my honor to recognize individuals for their service to the O&P profession. Jared Howell, our president-elect, will assist with the recognition.
Thank you very much, Kate. And thank you all for being here. It really is a pleasure to share this meeting with you. We recognize that there's a lot going on in the world out there. And the fact that you're here recognizes your commitment to the profession, to your own well-being, and to your own progress as an orthotist or prosthetist. So it really is a pleasure to be able to share this with you. So we will present the 3 Academy Awards. These are the biggest awards that the Academy gives out over the course of a year. And we had a great slate of nominations, and thank those of you that submitted those nominations. Our first award this year is the Mo Amin Award. It was created in honor of award-winning photographer who really changed the world's view of its humanitarian responsibility through his photographs of the Ethiopian famine. Today's Mo Amin Award recipient exemplifies the same spirit. And by the way, this award is given to somebody who is not a clinician, but that is a wearer of a prosthesis or orthosis, and is a patient that's been treated by an orthotist or prosthetist. So today's Mo Amin Award recipient exemplifies that same spirit, as mentioned. The Academy is proud to recognize Nicole Verkeilen, for her outstanding contributions. Nicole, will you please join us on the stage? And as Nicole's coming up here, I'd like to share a little bit about Nicole. So Nicole lost her leg to bone cancer at age 10. In 2017, she completed a 1,500-mile triathlon down the Pacific coast to raise awareness about challenges amputees face accessing appropriate prostheses. Verkuylen's documentary film about her journey allows her to take her message to policymakers, educating them about amputees and amputee issues through her nonprofit, For a Stump. So we're really thrilled to be able to honor her for this. Recognize that she also was one of the inaugural fellows for NAAOP and has really been a great supporter of both amputee needs as well as the profession. So thank you very much for your service. So this next one is very near and dear to my heart as well, and this is somebody that I've gotten to know quite well. So our Distinguished Practitioner Award is intended to recognize an individual, a member of the Academy, who has distinguished themselves through their personal dedication and leadership to the advancement of the orthotic and prosthetic profession. The individual must have demonstrated a sustained record of contributions and commitment to the advancement of the ideals of the Academy and the profession. It is my honor to present this award to Alicia Davis, MPH, CPO, and Fellow with Distinction. So I get to embarrass Alicia a little bit before we welcome her up here, and so she doesn't have to stand up here awkwardly. I'm going to invite her up in just a minute. So Alicia began her career at the University of Michigan as an orthotic prosthetic technician while pursuing her baccalaureate degree. In 1990, she completed her formal O&P education at Northwestern University. She went on to work at private practices in Boston and Michigan before returning to U of M in 1993. Alicia completed her master's degree in healthcare administration in 2002 at the University of Michigan. During her 30 years of full-time clinical practice, Alicia has passionately devoted to the advancement of O&P profession through her teaching, volunteerism, and leadership at the national level. She served on NCOP's board of directors from 2005 to 2010 and as a KHEP liaison for the last 2 years of that tenure. During that time, NCOP, ABC, and BOC signed the historic agreement that increased the KHEP standard for entry-level O&P education to a master's degree. Alicia's master's thesis, assessing the need for increased standards in the field of orthotics and prosthetics, was one of the several studies cited by NCOP in its decision to adopt a higher minimum education requirement for practitioners in O&P. And so you see, not too long ago, the impact that she's made in that short period of time. She has also volunteered extensively for the American Academy of Orthotists and Prosthetists, most notably on the Academy Board of Directors from 2011 to 2019, and served as president in 2018. While on those national boards, she consistently advocated for the benefit of the patients that we serve. Alicia has lectured on orthotics and prosthetics nationally and internationally. From 2003 to 2011, she taught upper extremity prosthetics at EMU, where she also served as an advisory board member. For over 25 years, Alicia has had good fortune to work with two generous mentors, Dr. James Leonard and Dr. Catherine Spires, as part of the Medical Residents Allied Health Education Program, and she is a two-time recipient of the Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation Physician Resident Teaching Award. She has co-authored 6 peer-reviewed scientific papers and 13 book chapters, in addition to a prosthetic rehabilitation textbook with Dr. Spires and Dr. Brian Kelly. These resources continue to aid clinicians in their evidence-based decision-making. Alicia's tenure as the residency program director at the University of Michigan's O&P Center was one of the personal joys of her career. Alicia and her colleagues helped to establish the U of M program as one of the premier residency sites in the country. And I think there's probably a lot of U of M grads and U of M residents out there because the impact that was made is significant. In 2011, Alicia was fortunate to be invited to join a group of physicians and therapists to teach and work in Kenya at the Cure International Children's Hospital. And during her time there, she worked alongside the orthotic and prosthetic clinicians and therapists to begin designing a new orthopedic technologies facility. Alicia has undeniably demonstrated a record of sustained commitment and contribution to the advancement of the ideals of the Academy and the O&P profession. Over the past 3 decades, her tireless dedication to clinical education and the advancement of our field has been consistent and unwavering. She truly embodies the Academy's Distinguished Practitioner Award. Congratulate Alicia. And I've shared this with Alicia, and I'm probably going to embarrass her a little bit more, but I've told her before that I think the mark of a true clinician is the mark that you leave on others. And I have met so many individuals that have been so instrumental in the Academy and in volunteerism and in getting involved that were one of Alicia's residents. So there's a few of you in the audience today, I'm sure, but she has left an indelible mark that will continue to be felt for generations to come. So what a remarkable thing it is to bless somebody else's life and to be an inspiration to others. All right, our last and final award that will be given out tonight is the Titus Ferguson Award. The Titus Ferguson Award is considered our Lifetime Achievement Award and is intended to be the highest level of recognition bestowed upon an outstanding academician whose accomplishments and contributions have made a significant impact on the growth and development of the profession. This highly dedicated individual must have demonstrated a record of sustained devotion and leadership to the advancement of the Academy and the orthotic and prosthetic profession. Okay? The Academy is proud to recognize Gary Burke, MS CPO Fellow, with the Titus Ferguson Lifetime Achievement Award for his outstanding career and as a leader in the profession. So we're going to invite Gary, if he wants to sit for just a minute, but please recognize Gary for that at this time. It's good to be able to see the pictures that are being shown of you, right? So Gary's diverse and distinguished career in the orthotic and prosthetic profession began in 1986 after earning his Bachelor of Science degree in kinesiology at UCLA. Graduating from UCLA's prosthetic and orthotic program and then successfully achieving ABC certification. Subsequently, Gary earned a master's degree in allied health with an emphasis in prosthetic research from the University of Connecticut. He was awarded his Fellow of the Academy with designation in 2001. A variety of employment opportunities led Gary to clinical care and teaching positions at Newington Children's Hospital, University of Oklahoma Children's Hospital, Stanford University, Eastern Michigan University, and most significantly as the founder of Burke Prosthetics and Orthotics in San Mateo, California. Concurrently, he served as a consultant for entities such as D-Rev Designs, in India, McKesson Medical and OP Software, and Johns Hopkins University. During his long career, Gary has established a significant record of scholarly production, including numerous research projects, multiple book chapters, and a multitude of professional presentations both domestically and abroad. He is also the recipient of the Academy's Clinical Commitment Award. Gary's most significant contributions to the profession have been a result of his many volunteer and leadership roles, including service in various capacities with ABC, JPO, NCOPE, the Amputee Coalition, JRRD, and others. The Academy was fortunate to have him serve for 12 years on the board of directors, including a successful term as president spanning from 2006 through 2007. A scientist by training, Gary was actively involved in transitioning the profession to an evidence-based care approach. Okay? It was during his Academy presidency that the Orthotic and Prosthetic Education and Research Foundation was conceptualized and organized to help the profession expand its base of scientific knowledge. Gary is a critical thinker with creative ideas who strives to discover, execute, and promote improvement while challenging others to do the same. During Gary's tenure on the Academy board, he was instrumental in transforming the Academy from a committee structure to the current council structure, okay, thereby improving the scope and efficiency of the organization. He is a rare board member to have served as chairperson of all 3 councils. Never one to shy away from significant commitments, Gary was also a participant in 3 of the Academy's State of the Science conferences, once as chair and once as co-chair. To continue his work, he is currently a founding co-chair of the Academy's new State of the Science Program Committee. Clinician, educator, researcher, author, consultant, and volunteer, Gary Burke personifies those qualities of an academician whose dedication to the Academy and the orthotic and prosthetic profession has advanced the care provided to the patients we serve. It is for those many accomplishments and sustained contributions to the Academy of Orthotists and Prosthetists that we proudly present Gary M. Burke with the Academy's highest honor, the Titus Ferguson Award, the 4th day of March, 2020. Gary, will you please join us on stage?
Well, I see they let some of you out of your cages. Thanks. It's kind of weird to get an award for doing things that you love with the people that you love and admire. It's just something I don't know what to do with, but here we are. A couple of thanks, certainly to the Academy for this incredible honor. Scott, you're in trouble. But the rest of you and the board, thank you. Thank you, too, to those mentors out there. The ones that came before me at the University of Oklahoma, University of Connecticut, Encope, ABC, Academy, UCLA, Stanford, and it goes on and on, for guiding me and keeping me in line all those years. To the mentors that are out there today, the folks that, despite caller ID, decide that they'll still pick up the phone and help me personally and professionally. And to those mentors that actually followed, the students, interns, residents, that have taught me more than I could ever teach them. And to the family, and I'm not going to dive in here because I will never get through this if that happens. But thank you for your unyielding support, dedication, the willingness to peel me off the ceiling each time there's a new prosthetic miracle announced. Couldn't have done it without you. The Academy has allowed me to say a few words. I hope they don't regret that. The industry of O&P is once again going through a little bit of flux, a little bit of transition. It's a bit reminiscent of the 80s and 90s when there was a change in how we did business, and everybody panicked. And now the manufacturers are entering the clinical workspace, and if you're that gnome in the basement, then yeah, maybe we should be a little bit nervous. But what isn't in flux is the profession. We still know what we need to do to take care of the patients for which we've been charged. It's an interesting thing because that's a very powerful position, and the industry can't do it without us. So we as professions maybe need to fulfill our obligation to act as professionals and join organizations that are dedicated to the profession and exert that power. And in return, maybe that organization will step up and represent us completely as professionals as well. This isn't a condemnation of the past, but maybe a direction for the future. We have power in this world of O&P, and it's probably time to step up and exert that power. And if not now, then when? Regardless, if Ricky Gervais were here, he would say that I don't know anything, that I should accept my award, say thank you, and sit the F down. So with that, I humbly accept this award, and thank you very much.
I now invite you all to join us to our welcome reception in the exhibit hall to reconnect with friends and colleagues. And I hear there's birthday cake in the exhibit hall, so happy birthday to the Academy.